The cold, late-night silence of the mansion was broken by the billionaire's harsh whisper. "Are you lying to me about helping your mother, or are you stealing?" The clatter of a heavy ceramic plate hitting the steel sink followed. Then, the tired voice of the maid's daughter, Lily, filled the air. "Please, sir, don't wake my mom. It's just my job. I have to be here." The sound of a keyboard clicking rapidly on a hidden laptop signaled the true, profound secret. The billionaire, Julian Vance, took a sharp, gasping breath. The terrifying realization that the exhausted young girl he was accusing was about to become the most valuable asset he had ever encountered. The setting was a sprawling, ultramodern penthouse in the estate of Julian Vance, CEO of VTech, located high above the East River in New York City. Julian, a self-made billionaire known for his severe insomnia and demand for perfection, often paced the house at all hours. At 3:15 a.m., the entire mansion was dark, save for the intense, focused light in the industrial kitchen. Julian peered through the doorway. Standing at the stainless steel sink, working through a massive stack of pots and plates, was Lily Rodriguez, the 16-year-old daughter of his head housekeeper, Elena. Lily, a girl of dark complexion, was supposed to be asleep, preparing for her advanced placement exams at a prestigious New York private school that Julian funded. Her movements were slow, methodical, and clearly drawn from utter exhaustion. The confrontation began when Julian stepped into the light, his presence causing Lily to jump, nearly dropping a dish. "Lily, what in God's name are you doing up at 3 a.m? Julian asked, his voice sharp with command, not sympathy. "You are not scheduled to work. You are scheduled to sleep." Lily immediately looked down, scrubbing furiously. "Mr. Vance, sir, I'm so sorry. I just needed to finish up before my mother wakes. She's had a rough week, and I wanted to make sure everything was clean before the chef arrives." The injustice was immediate. Julian's hostile assumption was that she was either shirking her studies, lying, or being exploited by her mother. Lily was a victim silently hurt by the hostile assumption of class and fraudulent behavior, based purely on his complexion. The ominous hint of future reversal was a plain, worn apron Lily was wearing. It was not just an apron. It concealed a small, worn laptop underneath the counter, connected to a global network Julian knew intimately. Fresh, unique opening style, focus on perceived exploitation versus the silent, massive industry the girl was secretly dominating. Julian approached the sink, his shadow looming over the exhausted girl. "Your mother assures me she keeps the schedule strict. Her duties are done by 9 p.m. These are not her pots. Why are you lying to me, Lily? This is not the first time I've seen you moving supplies or washing dishes at ridiculous hours." He leaned in, his voice tightening with suspicion. "I pay your mother an excellent salary. I provide the best housing and education. The only reason a child will be working at this hour is if they're stealing time to do another job, or if your mother is not being honest with me about her workload." The wrongdoers are loud, arrogant, confident. Julian assumed the worst, dishonesty or manipulation. Lily suffered emotionally. The humiliation was painful, being accused of defrauding the man who paid for her life. The cold sting of being suspected of petty theft or exploitation wounded her dignity. "Tell me the truth right now," Julian demanded. "Are you skipping school to work extra hours for your mother's personal gain? I will not have my staff exploit their children. If your mother is overburdened, she should ask for more help, not force you to work." Lily's eyes welled up, but she quickly fought back the tears. She was guarding a profound secret, and the shame of being caught out on the job was immense. She knew if the real reason came out, it might cost her mother everything. "Please, Mr. Vance, it's just my job. I have to be here. I'm helping a relative. Must include one specific nonverbal act of dignity or kindness from protagonist despite the mistreatment." Instead of arguing, Lily simply turned off the water, wiped her hands on her apron, and reached beneath the counter. She pulled out a small, worn photograph of a young man lying in a hospital bed, attached to numerous tubes. She placed the photo silently on the clean countertop, a quiet promise that she would endure the abuse but use her network to enforce institutional consequence, proving the urgency was real, even if her methods were secret. Julian picked up the photograph. "Your brother Marco," he identified. "He was injured in that construction accident overseas, correct? Your mother told me he was recovering well. He then scoffed. And you think you can pay for his recovery by washing my dishes? Be serious, Lily. You are undermining your education and insulting your mother's ability to care for her family. He took out his own phone, preparing to call Elena. Fine. If you won't tell me the full truth, I'll call your mother right now and sort out this deception. I refuse to have my staff exploit their children to... No! Lily cried out, her voice cracking with fear and desperation. She lunged forward, nearly knocking over Julian's phone. Please, don't wake my mom. Please, sir. I'm the one who needs the money, not her. A low-status relative intervened. Sarah Jenkins, a junior assistant chef who worked the early shift, peered through the kitchen door, having heard the shouting. Sarah's gesture was an attempt to provide the judge with an official basis for the judge to enforce order, but she instantly retreated when Arthur pointed a furious finger at her. Julian spotted the assistant chef and pointed a furious finger at her. Get out of here. This is a private matter. If you report this, you're fired. Julian successfully silenced the low-status intervention. Julian was triumphant, believing he had caught a conspiracy. So you admit it. You're working an illegal second job. This is theft of time, Lily. I will not tolerate this. I'm calling security now. A high-status character starts paying attention. Chief Technology Officer, CTO Samuel Chun of VTech, a notorious night owl, had been running a deep learning model on global market activity when a sudden, massive transfer of cryptocurrency from a highly secure wallet hit his corporate monitoring system. He immediately paused his work and started paying attention, tracing the unusual transaction back to a local New York IP address. Julian grabbed Lily's apron. I'm calling the police. I want to know exactly what kind of illegal activity you're running out of my house. Just before the shocking reveal, we want to take a quick moment to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now let's get back to the story. Julian held his phone up, ready to dial security. Last chance, Lily. What is your secret job? Who are you working for? Tears streamed down Lily's face. She knew the time for hiding was over. She quickly reached beneath the counter, ignoring Julian's threats, and pulled out her small, battered laptop. She swiveled the screen toward him. Sir, I'm not working for anyone, Lily whispered, her voice barely audible. I am selling my art to pay for Marco's surgery. I'm the one who sent the $50,000 to the hospital this morning. Julian looked at the screen. He saw a vibrant, complex digital image and a website header he knew intimately. The name was a global sensation in the digital asset world. Julian's eyes were locked onto the laptop screen. The website displayed a collection of dark, intricate digital paintings, and next to the featured piece, a stunning, hyper-realistic portrait titled The Night Watch, was a cryptocurrency ledger entry confirming a final sale of 30 Ethereum, worth over $120,000. The artist's pseudonym, prominently displayed above the ledger, was LILITH VANCE, a name that had exploded in the tech and art world 6 months prior. LILITH VANCE was the anonymous, reclusive master behind the Starlight Worker NFT series, which had generated hundreds of millions in sales, and was lauded for its powerful, emotional commentary on working-class struggle in New York. Analysts believe LILITH VANCE was a veteran, world-renowned artist, possibly a collective. Julian, the CEO of a global tech firm, was one of the world's largest venture capital investors in the NFT space. He stared at the name, then at the exhausted girl of dark complexion standing before him. You're Lilith Vance? Julian whispered, the question barely audible. His former anger evaporated, replaced by a shock so profound it was physical. Lily nodded, tears finally breaking free and running down her face. Yes, sir. My full name is Lily Veronica Vance Rodriguez. I chose Lilith Vance to honor my mother's long hours in the city. The final piece, The Night Watch, sold 3 days ago. That transfer of $50,000 to Marco's hospital was from the sale. I had to use the kitchen Wi-Fi late at night because the signal is strongest, and I needed to track the crypto transfer in real time. She looked up, her expression pleading. I couldn't tell my mother because she quit the job to worry about my art. She is too proud to take money from a child artist, and she needed to believe I was focused on school. I only came down here to clean the dishes to look like I was helping with chores, so I could hide my real work. The underestimated person is revealed as powerful. Julian realized he was not looking at an exploited Maid's daughter, but a secretive artistic prodigy and a multi-million-dollar asset who had chosen his household as her base of operations. The shock was absolute. Lily's illegal job was actually a stunning success in a high-tech field Julian specialized in. His former arrogance had been dismantled by the very person he had sought to police. Julian Vance stood in silence for a full minute, the reality of his error crushing him. He had just threatened to call the police on a 16-year-old girl who had single-handedly financed a massive family medical crisis through sheer talent, dedication, and cutting-edge technology. His attempt to assert moral and financial authority had resulted in the worst misjudgment of his career. He slowly pulled out a secure phone, not to call security, but to connect with his personal chief financial officer, CFO. CFO, I need an immediate, anonymous wire transfer, Julian stated, his voice now purely corporate and devoid of personal feeling. Find the hospital account for Marco Rodriguez in Ecuador. Pay off the entire remaining balance of the surgery, all $65,000, and purchase LILITH Vance's 10 remaining pieces on the market. Offer $5 million for the collection. He ended the call, turned off Lily's laptop, and knelt down to look her in the eye. Lily, I made a profound mistake, Julian said, his voice husky with genuine regret. I stereotyped you. I assumed dishonesty based on appearance and circumstance, and I threatened you when I should have been listening. I apologize, formally and completely. The wrongdoers go silent. Lily's former arrogance had collapsed. She could only stare, paralyzed by the sudden, radical shift in power dynamics. Your brother's debt is settled fully, Julian continued, and the $5 million is not payment for the art. It is a seed funding for the LILITH Vance Creative Education Fund, a trust one am setting up in your name to finance your education and your brother's recovery without ever touching your own earnings. Julian then looked around the empty kitchen, speaking loudly enough for the silent cameras to record his humiliation. I, Julian Vance, CEO of VTech, admit I was arrogant, judgmental, and wrong. I nearly destroyed the trust of the most talented person in this building. This will be documented as a gross failure in my leadership. The next morning, Julian called a mandatory all-staff meeting in the main New York boardroom. He brought Lily and her mother, Elena, to the front. He publicly recounted the entire humiliating story, taking full ownership of his prejudice. Lily did more to solve her family's problem than my entire corporate structure could, Julian announced to his staff. She showed courage, silence, and genius. Julian then announced the creation of the Vance Family Education and Emergency Fund, ensuring that all staff children would receive full scholarships and emergency financial support, so no family would ever again feel compelled to use secrecy and overwork to solve a crisis. He personally ensured Lily was set up with a dedicated, high-security studio within the estate where she could focus on her art and her studies. He had restored dignity. Lily, freed from the financial burden and the need for secrecy, thrived. She went on to attend NYU on a full scholarship and continued her art career, becoming a symbol of empowerment for young artists in New York. Julian Vance learned a humbling lesson. True worth has no outward sign, and the most dangerous mistake a powerful person can make is underestimating the silent, determined strength of those they perceive to be beneath them. Her life improved, and she had enacted deep reflection, ensured a calm ending.